let me talk about this person here. I have here the Knight of Wands. I'm sorry, the Knight of Swords. And I'm drawn to those little things on the animal's back paws. Seems like they were bound to something. They just sever some karmic situation. And I keep seeing financial related. They're at a point where they have reached a point of financial stability, career success, and they're making a lot of progress in their lives. I'm also seeing some of you looking at, reaching out to, checking on social media, scoping out exes, okay? So I feel like you're wondering, I wonder what so-and-so is up to. And you might have found out, oh, they're recently divorced. They recently started a business. They might have a child, but they're no longer with that child's mom or that child's dad. And they're single. And so there's a temptation here to reach out to exes. I don't feel like the ex is going to be good for you to come back into the picture. It seems like that ship has already sailed, and it seems like you kind of need to move away from that. So I mentioned career success is looking very, very good for you guys. I have here the Sun getting a lot of recognition. And I'm also seeing as well, you've been at this position for quite some time. Career is going really, really, really well. You are kind of like a major player in your industry, in your field. People do come to you, and I feel like, you know how to do your job without consulting with other people, without having to ask other people for feedback, without having to ask for advice, because you are at a point where you know how to do your job blindfolded. You're very, very proficient at it. And I also feel like, once again, the institutional environment. We have here the Hierophant in the reverse. This is bureaucratic red tape. This is like getting multiple signatures, multiple concurrence, multiple people involved just to get one thing moving. It's a very, very, very slow, nonsensical process. And it can be very frustrating. But you also understand that, these checks and balances are put in place so that people don't free ride, people don't abuse the system. So in a way, whatever was very slow and frustrating, that you perceive to be very slow or frustrating, you are starting to accept it, or you're starting to realize that it's put in place for a reason, so that we have, systems of checks and balances, so that people are where they're supposed to be, and that, things move along it could be slow, but there's definitely a purpose for it. And so because the system itself, there's a lot of red tape, there's a lot of bureaucracy involved, there are a lot of actors involved. I also feel like it works well to your advantage, because I sense that you are very well liked in your work environment. You're making new friends, you're forging new alliances. People see you as a self-starter, and people see you as someone who is motivated, ambitious, gets things done, and is very well liked. And I feel like, that people person type of energy that you have will actually carry you a long way if you want to, shift even from this environment to the next. I feel like you're already maxed out. Once again, you're already maxed out when it comes to your income generating potential. And so you are thinking about, looking elsewhere. And I mentioned, I believe last time, moving from a public, kind of like the public sector into more of the private sector. Okay. And, or vice versa. Wanting to start a career elsewhere, wanting some change, wanting to scope out your surrounding environment, see what your friends are doing, and shifting gears into a different organization. I'm also feeling as well, for those who are in a relationship, there's definitely an escalation, like taking the relationship to the next level. What I have here is the Four of Wands, and this is a marriage card. Stable relationship, marriage, fidelity, and wanting to combine assets with another person. So I feel like you're at a point where you're definitely wanting that. You want to create your own household. You don't want to be bogged down with, so for example, I see some of you are living with family members, okay, like your nuclear family members, and you want to establish a house of your own. You want, you know, your own wife, your own husband, your own child. And I feel like there was that sense of safety. There might have been some financial constraints, and that's why you're living with family members. It could be financial constraints from their end. That's what I'm seeing. And right now they're at a point where they have already built up, you know, their financial base, but for some reason they're still living with you because of safety, security issues. They might not be 100% on their own. I mean, they're footing the bill, they're pulling their weight, but you're at a point where you want your own space. You also want to establish your own family. And so I feel like you're contemplating how to have this delicate discussion with that person. It could be a sibling for many of you. I see siblings. And I also feel like, you know, you want to establish that space to create your own family, to build up your own family. And so you want to have this discussion, but you've been kind of biding time. And also you care about your family member. And so it doesn't really affect you that much. Okay. So once again, it's not about the end goal. It's right now you're okay with the way things are. You're okay with, you know, moving forward little by little. And when you reach that end date, when you're like, when your partner is all like, hey, let's move in together, or let's buy property together, that will be the day when, you know, the timing is right and you can have that discussion with the family member. Okay. So I feel like right now you're still enjoying the process. You're still enjoying the ride. I also see for some of you, there might have been a situation here. I see air sign, Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. And I feel like there's some type of an imbalance in the give and take within this union. There is an imbalance in the give and take. And I feel like, you know, air signs in general, Aquarius, Gemini, Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising, they're not emotionally available people in general. They're generally not emotionally available. But the thing about them is you could like be out of touch with them for years. And then, you know, they send you a text or you send them a text, you guys meet up, you guys catch up, and everything is, it's almost like the time lapse never happened. Like the connection is that good where the two of you just like, can, you know, pick up where you left off without missing a beat. But I feel like for whatever reason, this union, there isn't enough holding it together anymore. It's almost like you guys are drifting in different directions. This is somebody who has made it, okay? Like the word made it. They are at a point where their career is really, really stable and solid. They're really moving ahead with their life and they have a greater sense of purpose. So if in the past they have been kind of floundering and just, you know, their life meanders like back and forth from one place to the next, never having that structure or a sense of direction, this is the week where I feel they're going to have a lot more drive and purpose. And I feel like they've always been driven and motivated. It's just they lacked a sense of direction to fully focus their energy. And so moving in for this week, there's going to be a clearer sense of direction. There's going to be, you know, a clearer sense of like what I need to do with my life and where things are headed and what I need to be doing. And so I definitely feel conversations and things like that coming through between you and this person. And I feel like, you know, the give and take in that union is going to balance itself out. I need 2 more cards here to get the last 2 cards that are coming through. I'm also feeling as well. Let me talk about this card. I have here the 7 of Wands. And the 7 of Wands is sort of like, no matter what people say, you are going to disregard and you're going to stick to your guns. Okay? Many of you, I feel like you know what you need to do and you know what you want to do. I don't see inner conflict coming in from your end. Okay, but I also feel like when you try to appease other people, when you don't want to stick up for your beliefs, or when you, for whatever reason, you don't want to, upset other people, when you try to appease other people, that's when things go awry. And that's when you feel like you're not really living your authentic self or being true to your authentic self. And that can also create a lot of problems. You do things for other people, and then I feel like if it's something that you didn't want to do, you didn't sign up for, and you feel like you got pigeonholed or cornered in, I feel like there can be brewing resentment underneath. So the trick here is the energy for this week. I see a lot of people coming into the picture, and there are some people that we have to, compromise with. There are also others that they're like, free flowing, and whatever goes goes. So they're a little bit more laid back. And so making sure that you verbalize your needs, okay, really verbalize your needs, and making sure that you kind of stand firm in what you want to do so that it doesn't create that lingering attachment. I definitely see this is something coming through with family members, okay? It could be the person that you're living with, and you've lived with them for so many years, and now that they're financially stable, you're just like thinking, why don't they move out? But I feel like, they're comfortable, and there's also a sense of codependency between you and them. They're there for that sense of familiarity, and as much as you love to have your space, you also care about this person. And so they are also there for your emotional security. It's a symbiotic relationship, so we can't really get mad at the other person. So I feel like there are some things that you kind of have to really examine and look at and ask yourself, am I staying in it because of that sense of familiarity? Or have I already outgrown it? And do I need to make other arrangements? Okay. So that's what I'm feeling. It's very home family focus. And it's also a good time to really re-examine your true motives and intentions, and possibly even figuring out, like for some of you, I feel like, you want to change, but I feel like, are you the one that's wanting the change, or are you seeing it through other people making a lot of drastic changes in their lives and you wish you could be in their shoes? And if yes, what's really stopping you? Is it of that sense of familiarity and security, or is it just, other things that you're holding yourself back from? Does that make sense? So that's what I'm seeing here. Once again, that imagery of the race, okay?